Ladies and gentlemen, I am back with some SpellForce free action. It's been a really long time since I've done any recording whatsoever of this, or any other video for that matter. So I've been visiting some family, then I got COVID, then I was out for weeks. And, well, I'm good now, thankfully. But I was also busy with Titan Quest 2 development. Work has been pretty crazy busy. But it will all pay off. It will all pay off. I hope I see maybe some of you at Gamescom, where you'll be able to play the game for the first time ever. Really looking forward to that. I'll be probably in the business area for the most part, but we'll stop around the booth, no doubt. Anyway, for this game, we've got in the orange color, Don Hyperion playing as the Orcs. And on the other side, we have got that guy from Earth, also known as Galactic, also playing as the Orcs. Now, what's special about this particular match is that it's on Hibernian Ruins. That's a map that isn't really played a lot in competitive 1v1. But the guys are trying something new, I guess, and I love it. Also, they're going for the different heroes. We've got the Goblin Warlock as well as the Occultist. Interesting expansion pattern from Galactic. Now again, this map is not very figured out because people don't play it very much, right? There's a ton of creeps around the map, so experience levels will be very high. Medusa all over the place and a bunch of these undead. But yeah, if you get a lot of these Medusa, you're definitely gonna reach level 5. It's just not very easy to do so, especially as the Orcs. You probably are gonna have to make a lot of goblins here. The Iron is an extremely safe sector, so I expect a bit of a longer match in this one. But you know, if Galactic manages to invade Don Hyperion's territory like he is now, maybe that can go a long way. Let's quickly take a look at what these hero builds are. Starting with the Gobbo, of course, we've got Chain Lightning, but interestingly, we don't have Life Bloom yet because he didn't stop to fight anything. He doesn't have any. He has 5 experience, man. That's pretty much nothing. All right, on the other side, we've got the Occultist skill tree, and this is pretty normal stuff with Death Resilience for a little bit of armor as he gets weaker, Brute Force to do more damage. And we've got Demonic Pact, which was that red circle you saw earlier, doing some cleave damage to enemies, as well as Blood Sacrifice and Blood Confluence. He essentially applies blood to enemies nearby, and then leeches off that, restoring his health. All his abilities cost health, whereas the Goblin is a normal spellcaster who uses Focus. Now he's level 2. As for the build orders, everything's pretty normal, I'm pretty sure. We've got a ton of lumber mills and 2 hunting cabins. So 5 lumber mills, 2 hunting cabins, and expanding into wood, supposedly. Where is it? Over here. Lumber mill. And another one. And Galactic has to start hunting after that. But I think his hero has teleported back, so we're not gonna see any worker harassment in this game, which is a little bit surprising. The Goblin Warlock is pretty good at that, especially if you pick up Life Bloom, which is more like a Death Bloom. It poisons the target, so very good against workers. So is Chain Lightning, of course, bounces from worker to worker, doing a ton of damage. We've got a bunch of Scoundrel figuring out that indeed Galactic is in Don Hyperion's territory, but instead of fighting that, it's faster to just go and expand. Like a clan standard has 750 hit points. You don't really want to stop and fight that. Also, it's probably going to be upgraded faster than it gets destroyed. So, yeah, I think Galactic could just hold on to that. So, yeah, the right move is to go and expand. And by the way, this map has this issue with the with the black map situation for spectators. We can only see what the units see. But when we switch to the players, we can see the entire layout of the map. So let's take a quick look at that. We've got the Adamantium Golem in the middle, getting an overlook by the War Rider. There's this very fancy bridge that you can cross into the enemy main. So you're only separated by the bridge plus this one little sector. It's pretty tiny, right? It's like very small compared to every other sector in the map. There's Godstone connections as well, so you can quickly respond to that if you're in the right spots. And there's some further Medusa up here, including a Medusa Vixen, which is not very common in the competitive map pool. Again, one more reason why this map is special. Now, she's a spellcaster that can stasis people. So that Medusa camp is particularly tough, but not as much as the Adamantium Golem. In the campaign here, there's a ton of chests, by the way. This map is featured in the campaign several times across the different versions of SpellForce. Oh, and I think you guys actually like when I disable these labels, right? I think I had some positive comments on that. Now, what are they gonna do? Tier 2 soon, or just spam goblins? It looks like we've got a fair amount of goblins as well as war riders here from Galactic. Also finding some further undead here. But this totem doing the heavy lifting in terms of AoE. He's level 3 right now. Don Hyperion, also level 3. It's a pretty equal game, all things considered. And the number of sectors is also similar between the two players. So everything's looking pretty peachy. Stone is being gathered faster by Don Hyperion. That indicates that he wants tier 2, as that upgrade does cost 20 stone. But is able to deal with all these threats real quick. And I think we've got our first little harassment moves here, as Galactic's under attack by a bunch of scoundrel, losing maybe the lumber mill. He's not repairing it, so I think it might be actually too late to start. If these goblins go to town as well after killing the warg. And little does Galactic know the occultist is about to join up, so while a little bit of Medusa hunting is going on down here for experience as well as extra potions, he's losing out on the economy game. One lumber mill has been destroyed. They're not very expensive, and orcs can afford losing generally one or two of these buildings. It's not a big issue whatsoever. They're very cheap. Very buffed these doubles are. We've got now the healing totem, as well as the passive for the totems, which is called Totemic Might, giving them armored and empowered areas. So all the allies nearby will gain 5% stats, essentially. Alright, looks like Don Hyperion is done. He's got, however, 20 stone. It's time to go tier 2. Just needs a little bit of wood, but that comes in anyway. Anyway, second Medusa camp, including the Vixen, who's currently poisoned. Oh, gets off a huge stasis, which doesn't actually protect units from harm, by the way. They can be healed throughout, but this is like a hard stun, is what you gotta consider stasis. Anyway, the healing totem seems to be taking care of most of this incoming damage. But the Medusa Vixen is setting up another one, gets interrupted, but starts recasting. However, she's too weak and goes down. Level 5 is achieved for the Goblin Warlock, and I believe this is an unpatched game, which means, well, unpatched as in there's no balance mod, which means the Inferno Golem is already around, which is going to help a lot with thinning out the herd here. And potentially getting the Goblin Warlock to level 6, or 5.5 at least, 5.8 maybe, by the time this is all done. Oh, that's it. That is really juicy. Soon. Ah! No! Not the bag! Cue the sad music, that's right. Perfect timing. It's on a random playlist, by the way. I didn't plan this. Okay, we've got Chain Lightning level 2 as well. This is a really good addition, and I'm sure we'll see Summoning Totem as well, which just keeps summoning the undead. Anyways, Don Hyperion is doing much the same, but he's got 26 stone. He's really not eager to go into tier 2 for whatever reason, but wait, he's done it. It's just he's gathered a lot of stone during all this. I'm sure he's got some other stone gathering operations, not just the one he's built earlier. Another Medusa camp here for Galactic, and soon there's no Medusa camps left anywhere. In fact, Don Hyperion is going to try to engage this, but his hero is only level 4, so how is he going to go up against a level 6 hero? Granted, the single target damage from the Goblin Warlock is not very impressive, and bleeding can be very problematic for those little scoundrel. So let's see how much of a surround happens on that occultist boy. He's applied bleeding just now and he's ready to leech off, but he's letting the damage tick for a moment. Oh, don't go out of your area, dude. You're gonna take so much damage. That's the part of the demonic pack there. Don Hyperion losing a little bit. Too many Warg Riders for my taste. But hey, he got the hero kill. That's actually really impressive from him. That's without the Warg Rider upgrade. So their damage is only 35, and he's achieved level 5 with this for the occultist. He'll be able to teleport right up here through the Godstone if he wants to take on the Medusa. I mean, this is not all that scary, right? Especially without the hero to back it all up. I would consider it if I'm Don Hyperion, but let's see what he's buying. Selling the focus potions because he can't use them anyway. Buying the tier 3 armor, which is going to give him an extra 20% reductions to all the damage types, putting some points into brute force, and of course picking up the ultimates, Sanguine Burst and Blood Like Tar. That's an aura, the second one. Slows down and bleeds enemies. So you no longer actively need to use Blood Sacrifice at all times, you can just rely on your aura, but it does reserve some health. That's a big army by Galactic. He's got a Frontier Post. Gonna use the Teleport Stone actually rather than the portal that's available down here. But he wanted to be quick about it. Going after this sector. Now of course Don Hyperion is essentially ready to use the Godstone connection to speed things up. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. He teleported back. He's applying his aura now. Ooh, that was some nasty Bumbo combo. As the bleeding got applied, he just exploded that blood. And soon tier 2 will be kicking in full force, by the way, behind this. So expect the higher tier units soon, or at least the Warg Rider upgrade. But for the moment, seems the occultist is having the time of his life. Of course, he can't really deal with the healing very easily, but he just walks away from that. Uses that Sanguine Burst, and then leeching right after the bleeding comes back, because Sanguine Burst does remove the bleeding, as I recall. Let's check on that. No, it does not remove the bleeding, actually. That's crazy. So they keep bleeding. Oof, he's got full health back. So much damage going down on those scoundrel, but the Infernal Golem ends up being a pretty good anchor for all this. I think the Goblin Warlock can more or less take this for the moment. Now let's see if these guys are trying to upgrade their army or what. We've got the Blood of the Horde coming in for Don Hyperion. That's going to be Hunters and Brutes. Some important tier 2 units. Galactic has already done this research, but they have no other thing going on at the moment. So they don't have a Blood Forge, although they do have the stone for it. At least Don Hyperion does. Now that would allow you to upgrade the Warg Riders to be far, far superior. Almost double damage with the upgrade. Definitely worth it. Man, this occultist is going to town on this little army. And the Gobos are really not cut out for this. In fact, they're getting cut up. A little bit difficult to navigate around this map as there's a lot of terrain. And a lot of vegetation, so it might be a little hard to see all these green turquoise units. Kinda in camouflage here, these green skins. Anyways, we've got the Frontier Post upgrades. Those are very important to get. As you can see, the Frontier Post has 7,000 hit points. Shoots some pretty strong shots. So you're getting those extra 2k hit points. Super important for sure. Looks like Don Hyperion never got this sector. I think he would like to. He would like to have that. But yeah, let's see what happens in terms of production now. We've got so many scouting posts. Oh my goodness. A bunch of Frontier posts and fortified outposts. A lot of those will have to be upgraded. But Don Hyperion now has 25 iron with Galactic on 18. And he's come back home. He's got a bunch of brutes protecting that Risen Karak. a bunch of hunters as well. So overall, a pretty decent army for this point in the game. Doesn't have a lot of food, however, which is gonna bite him for sure. So if he can add a bunch of farms, I think it is time for that transition, as the raw meat is running out around the map in many of the sectors he owns, although not these ones just yet. It's got a little bit of an iron operation, so that's also looking pretty good. But we've got the fight for this little scouting post. There's no way that this can be held against the brutes, especially when they're getting increased damage from the totems. But tell you what, this occultist can absolutely wipe out the scoundrel at least, reducing a little bit of the incoming damage. However, Don Hyperion is running around a little bit too much. He doesn't have the abilities ready, I don't think. Yeah, he just used them a while back, so kind of has to leave here against Galactic's superior army composition. But Don Hyperion is now looking to spend all those resources that he's had banked this whole time. So that will come in pretty handy. Here come the hunters and brutes for sure. So just level 5, level 7 has been achieved for the Goblin Warlock, and this might snowball a little bit too hard as Totemic Might 3 is unlocked, and that adds now regeneration in all the totem areas. Level 2s might be a thing to consider for much longer effect durations, so that the totems actually stick around for a long time. That's their lifespan, really. Life Bloom 2 is around as well, dealing more damage and what else? It's a longer poison duration, from 7 to 15 seconds. Every little bit counts. Frontier Post cannot hold, there's absolutely no way. However, Don Hyperion does manage to take down the hero, so that was a pretty important anchor for this group. And with all the bleeding coming in from the occultist, all the leeching it can do, I think he can fight this head on. He's deleting a ton of gobos. He's got some around himself, although they are getting burned over time by this Inferno Golem with the Blazing Heat passive. It's 10 magic damage per second, and these guys don't resist magic very well, minus 25%. Hero does go down, however. On level up, you don't gain back your full health and stuff like that, so goodbye. This sector does, however, stay with Don Hyperion. For whatever reason, Galactic's leaving. I think that Bound Inferno Golem might have been able to pick off these hunters, and he's a free boy. Right, you just resummon him for focus and cooldown. So as soon as his Goblin Warlock is back, he could have had the unit back. Could have been a good move, but oh well. Playing it safe rather than accidentally getting jumped on by a sudden reinforcement wave of units. I understand. It's logical, actually. So, 15 hunters from Don Hyperion, 8 brutes. Can he just overwhelm this man? That guy from Earth has a similar number of stuff. More brutes than hunters, however. And they're okay. They're okay, but you can kind of kite them. You can keep them at bay with your occultist hero. At level 6, I think might have considered some shopping. Yeah, just for potions. Oh, we never got around to the Medusa up north, by the way. So whenever Don Hyperion gets a moment, he can definitely go after this. He noticed the blip on the minimap. Galactic showed his hand a little bit too soon before fully grouping up, so Don Hyperion just reacts instantly. Has no trouble with this whatsoever. Needs a little bit of repair, however, on this frontier post if he wants to save it. The upgrading is helpful. Okay, the units are high enough in number that it's no issue at all. He staggered, I think, that Goblin Warlock with the pull ability, and now has a good chance to delete him, but there's enough potions, I think, here around this place. Still, really good choke point and concave from Don Hyperion, so every unit is basically attacking, whereas Galactic is just kind of running around. This is not going to work out for him. On Inferno Golem, nearly toast, probably needs to resummon shortly. So many units crossing this bridge, but now it's Galactic that has the setup. So much more space available to this man. Ooh, full health back for the occultist with that blood leech. And that's a ton of gobos that got deleted. Hold the ground. Oh my god, that lightning attack was so good. Bouncing between all of Don Hyperion's hunters. The population does remain very equal, however. And this occultist is overall having a good time in melee, as he gets more and more resistant over time as he takes damage. But he has been beaten back. Once again, the Bound Inferno Golem is, however, pretty much toast. That could be Don Hyperion's moment, but he goes home, heals back faster in his own territory after all, with the territory bonus. But this does give Galactic the opportunity to raid up here. This is just a scouting post. Well, it's now a frontier post. Should be pretty easy to protect, given the Godstone is right there, though. Once again, really good map awareness from Don Hyperion. It's so difficult to just notice every little blip at the edge of your line of sight, but pays attention to this kind of stuff. He knows how to do this. Gets the health back and kills the golem at the same time with that leech. Very nicely done for sure. I do wonder if we're gonna see some flyboys. Where are those wyverns? Love to see them in this matchup, but doesn't look like any different units are coming out just yet. And you know, when you have these super cramped choke points, I think it's super valuable to have the third dimension available for a little bit of stacking. And just make sure that more of your units from a distance can shoot. A bunch of drummers have been added, but they're only really buffing up goblins, giving them a little bit more attack and a little bit of burst healing with each drum beat. Grand Karak is coming in now. And for Galactic, he's actually a little bit ahead. I'm sure the iron sectors are still in a very good spot though. Like 600 iron available. Tons of black ash in these corners. Yeah, the iron is gonna go for a long time, and so is the black ash, in my opinion at least. There's another 600. Okay, we could be here all day if the guys don't make some kind of decisive moves in terms of the fights. Might get to the Titan stage. Who knows? Who knows? The Titans are in the top and bottom sectors. You can see that muscular arm icon. We'll check it out later, because there's a fight right now. A decent split from Don Hyperion, but the lightning bounces anyway. It was just in range. This should be a Yeetus Deletus on the goblins right there. But the occultist is getting focus fired. That usually is a mistake in my opinion, just because he can take it, right? And meanwhile, Don Hyperion's army is actually killing units. Hero getting pulled in for a potential snipe, but I think he can only get the Bound Inferno Golem. However, oh, there's the Wyvern. Galactic, a big braining it for sure. Wait a second, what is this? Okay, it's just reinforcements. I was like, are we gonna see some war trolls and have things taken down? The hunters have been upgraded, by the way. We have more damage now. Fortified outpost will fall, but it is costing Galactic a good amount of units for sure. However, he's won the army fight, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He can go after these bases. He can afford to lose a bunch of units. Look at his economy. He's got hundreds of wood. He can transfer a lot of that into farming, in my opinion. He's got a bunch of idle workers anyway. It's a good time to start thinking about it. The main base is about to run out of logs. Ditto. The farming transition has begun, in fact. But yeah, with such a good army advantage, 200 population to 86, I definitely think that Galactic can go for stuff and take down a bunch of these bases maybe. Level 8 on the hero, he's starting to fill up the Arcane Force, which is a power multiplier for the abilities. I really hope we get to see Explosive Finale. It's not that good. It could maybe kill goblins, but not many of them are getting made. He's got the tier 3 armor, of course. He's got the shielding amulet, but otherwise not much to show for himself. It's much the same with Occultist. He's pretty naked, never got around to creeping. Oh, he's just done it. He's just done it. By the way, that Vixen Medusa leaves a ring behind, so a little unfortunate to see that he didn't actually go for it. Oh man, oh man, Occultist is on the struggle bus, but the hero is getting taken down. Is this going to be enough for Don Hyperion to fight this army? I really don't think so. Although that Occultist is really tanking so much damage. It's just too much stuff here, and the Wyvern is dealing splash magic damage against this army. The orcs are terrible at resisting magic until you have shamans. So I guess that's that. Don Hyperion should turn around these reinforcements before he loses too many units. Let's see what he's gonna do with tier 3. It seems to me he's just producing the tier 2 army still. But with a focus on the Bloodforge upgrades, he never got something like Sharp Eyes, even though he has so much food. You know, you get Sharp Eyes on those Vorg, and they basically become half a hunter, right? So if you have excess food, why not just spend that on that? Fight for the Cow next level will require Black Ash, which he doesn't have right now. Ooh, back to full health with that Occultist. You know, Don Hyperion still controls a good portion of the map. Galactic would need to whittle that down to a little bit less. So many scoundrel here, oh my goodness. You can certainly surround bases. But with the shaman starting to appear, maybe that's easier said than done. Yeah, I definitely think they can do a lot here. I think they can do a lot here. Maybe not in this specific fight. Wait, is he gonna actually go for it? No way. No way, he's gotta defend this little bridge. It's a great spot to fight in, but he only took like half his army now. I don't like this from Don Hyperion. He's lost the base. He's gonna lose the remaining two if he loses this army as well. I think he could have protected this one with just the Godstone. But hey, he's gonna go for it. Oh, might get the Goblin Warlock snipe. Oh my goodness, he did. He's gonna get it. Epic. Got is back to full health. Face tanking like a champ. Level 10 has been reached from all these hero kills. But it's still a little bit too much army. However, look at the amount of goblins that were deleted. Galactic, of course, has a lot of other units queued up, so you can see across the map the reinforcements on the way. He's also got a good amount of upgrades. He's got one armor upgrade, one weapon upgrade at least. Sorry, 2 weapon upgrades. Because it's 5 plus 5 each time. Wonder if we're gonna see a little bit of Pesterers from Don Hyperion. They're the ranged gobos, and they can apply the oiled affliction to enemies, which then fire attacks can detonate like that of the shaman. That would be a great way to clear the little gobos, but it's not coming just yet. It's the incinerate thing here. Both of them have left the ring. So annoying. Got the first bunch of border fortresses. Oh, excuse me. I mean, all the border fortresses are here for Galactic. That's a whole lot more economy with Black Ash Collectors. The Forge is doing its work. And we've got the Tainted Obelisks not yet being used whatsoever because, well, maxing out your army is a little bit more important, as you might imagine. Galactic is looking for further expansion. Will this game get to the Titan stage? I really think it could. Hero's back in action at level 10. Now he has some money to spend as well, by the way, so he could go and buy the sword, although I think he needs more potions than anything else. It's a pretty good death ball from Don Hyperion, but Galactic also has numbers. Going for this border fortress won't be the easiest thing. However, he can certainly take it. I like that the border fortress is focusing the hero. Like, just reducing the amount of potions he holds is already a great start. I don't think Galactic is gonna like this defense very much. Oh my god. Hero's toast. Should have gotten out of there with a teleport. The goblins never have a chance against a shaman-based army. Like, that's just not gonna happen. And Galactic's population is evaporated, falling from 200 to 73 and falling further. Might reach the 40s at this rate. Oh my goodness. Down below 40. Wow. Well, Don Hyperion sure has some momentum. Oh my god. Oh no. Here come the War Trolls. And there's more where that came from. Can this Grand Karak protect itself? I'm not sure if Don Hyperion is watching this. These War Trolls could cause so much trouble right now. Oh, he's attacking with them. That should notify the man. But, where's the army? Are we gonna go back? Don't tell me he's waiting for... Okay, he's gonna have the Stone of Homecoming. So as long as he saw this, he's lost a sector. So he's got the announcement of that. Surely Don Hyperion will notice, right? Although it looks like the objective of the War Trolls is not the main snipe. Galactic seems to be content with just getting some of the side bases, which are supposedly gathering iron. There's quite a bunch here. And even more down here. So if he can take those down, that's a pretty big deal. The 111 population especially. he's got to work on this a little bit. And whittle down the numbers of Don Hyperion. Hold up a second. Don't tell me he's gonna try to go for the main with his army. I mean, he's got a bunch of brutes in here, to be fair. No, he doesn't. It's all shamans. I'm sorry. It's all ranged stuff. There's nothing melee. And I actually think this might be something that can be held, but a lot of the work is being actually done by the Bound Inferno Golem. Just scorching these enemies down. But he's toast. Not too many units remaining overall. The War Trolls have been forgotten about. They wiped out another base, but if the capital drops, you lose the game. So there is that. Oh boy. They're going for the capital race. Can you get it? This one is dropping health very fast. But also, many of these units are going down. Galactic. Oh, these War Trolls are in the main. We've got the race. Attack. He's not gonna get it. Wait a second. 300 health. 500. Ooh, one more hit. Oh my goodness, Galactic did not make it. He's toast. He just barely got to scratch that Grand Karak. Although if this had gone on a little longer, if a few more units of Don Hyperion had died, that would have been a very, very different kind of game. Wow. Okay, well done to Don Hyperion for winning this. It was very, very close. And he's had a hell of a comeback, especially after his army is getting wiped so many times over and over. To think that he can just go tier 3 tech up and make use of those shamans to wipe out the Gobbo army. Very impressive turnaround, and Galactic risked a little bit too much by going for the trash mobs in that early late game. Anyways, I'll be doing more of these, so make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.